I'm Maria Menounos, and you're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Welcome to the Total Bellas After Show. We have a show for you guys tonight. Talk about drama. There was so much drama in this episode of fights, but let me introduce you guys who is with me always every week, my beautiful panel, starting with Miss Emily Mae.
Hi, everyone. I'm so happy to be here. It's a wonderful Friday night. It's awesome. Happy to have you all with us. We can talk Bellas.
And part of the Bella Army. I believe he's like the leader of the Bella Army.
Yeah, I think
and
so.
Now part of this panel, Mr. Bryant Santos.
Hello, so excited to be here. Got my Twin Magic shirt on and my Birdie hat, ready to talk. I have so much Bella gear, it's insane. But so ready to talk about this. And real quick, Nikki, I don't know.
Yeah, well, we're going to be talking about that.
I need to borrow some gear.
Yeah, for real, we all do. And I am Leslie Colon here, so excited to be talking about this episode. Normally, Ollie is joining us, but today he couldn't, but he will be with us next week. So make sure you tune in next week, 7 p.m. every Friday to talk about all the Bella drama. So let's get started. I feel like there's so much to talk about, so much we want to get off of our chest. But Brian, I want to know your overall thoughts on this episode.
Yep, I just said it. Nikki, she's my queen. I love her so much. But this episode, I was like, no, Nikki, you can't do that. Like, literally, like, she didn't even show up to the barbecue. I was so upset with her in that moment. She literally just proved JJ's point so much. I can't wait to talk all about that. Momma Bella as well. She was like here and there with Artem, and she was feisty. I was like, oh my gosh. And it was just so great to see. I feel like Brie was kind of just like, you know how last episode or a couple episodes ago, Nikki was the one that was like watching everything go down. But I feel like with this episode, it was Brie. She was kind of like, so it was a lot.
It was a lot. Emily, your thoughts on tonight's episode?
Oh my God. There was so much happening on this episode. I felt like I was at my own family reunion, my own Friday night dinners with my family. It was so crazy. I was like, oh, I've been there. Oh, that's that person. It was so relatable. I've been there a million times. I loved it, but I have to say, Nikki, man, she was getting me frustrated throughout this episode. Momma Bella, also, I was kind of not liking her tonight as well.
Yeah.
Just not really, they weren't really being nice.
I don't think anyone was being nice, but let's go ahead and talk about, there's two kind of different topics that we're going to be talking about tonight. First, obviously, this feud between JJ and Nikki versus like her playing kids, her loving Birdie, or paying more attention to Birdie. As if you guys may not know, JJ is the Bella's brother who has two daughters. And the oldest, Vivian, is the same age as Birdie. So, there is a little bit of like jealousy, I would like to say. But then there's also the other topic when it comes to, we see this family trip. We see that Momma Bella mentioned for her birthday, she wants to have a family photo. But here's the but. Artem is not going to be part of it. She doesn't feel like Artem and Nikki is in this relationship seriously. And two, like they've only been dating for almost a year, not even a year. So Emily, I don't know your thoughts, Momma Bella's plan on not including Artem in this picture.
Okay, so when I heard about the compromise of like the two photos of planning, right? I'm like, okay, it can work. But also, you have to have conversations with people. That's what I was so frustrated about. Like, if Artem is serious about Nikki, then he's going to understand and be like, you know what? It's okay. It's fine. We'll have a million photos down the line. It's fine. Like, I understand in a way where Momma Bella is coming from because she's been, her parents had to take down that photo twice. Like, she talked about. So I get it. Like, there's kind of like an insecurity there that definitely came out in this episode, but I feel like she didn't go about it the right way. She made it into this huge production. It wasn't simple. They could have kept it really simple, and then it turned into a disaster. And so I feel like because she wasn't honest in the beginning, it was never going to work out.
Yeah. To go to you because I know you've been such a Bella fan for such a long time. So I think one of the things I laughed was, and kind of validate what Momma Bella was saying, but I have to agree with Emily that I don't think she kind of put it the right way. But we have to bring up John Cena. I love how they say X.
They say X.
Oh,
Well,
no,
it is an X. We know who it is.
I know. So, Nikki Brie, it was actually like for my wedding, I had down my picture at my house because it had Nikki's ex in the photo. So, but then I thought about it and was like, that's the only picture I have with both Brian's family and her family. Yeah. So do you feel like Brie was right about that and she kind of went along with Momma Bella's idea?
Yes, and the easiest solution I'm thinking, I would feel like the best thing would just be for Momma Bella to only include her kids. That would just be the easiest option.
Yes.
Like she could easily just say, like, I don't want to make anyone feel bad. So Lola and Brian, you're not going to be in the picture either. It's just
and like the grandkids. I feel like the grandkids too.
Maybe her immediate kids, and kind of show that whole generational thing as well.
Yeah.
That could have been such a great way to make everybody happy, not make anyone feel bad. But yeah, I definitely agree with Brie where she was kind of like, I see exactly where she's coming from because I had to do the exact same thing, So it's definitely a tricky subject because I think it wouldn't be as tricky if the relationship ended the way it did with John. It was very, very tumultuous ending. So that's why it's very taboo to talk about. But I think if it was more like an amicable relationship, it wouldn't be so taboo. But I don't know.
But also, like, you're going to have that photo, like wedding photos especially, like you have photos that like you look back 5, 10, 20, 30 years and you're like, that person's no longer together or that person's no longer with us. And you keep them because it's not just a memory of that relationship or it's a memory of that day and having people around you that meant something to you and celebrating love. So I feel like having the photo up with someone that you're not together, it shouldn't be awkward. So
exactly.
That's
right. This is kind of funny, not a picture, but I feel like a picture is so meaningful. I related to this and it's like, not just me, but a whole bunch of girls can probably relate to this. Comes to like in the Latin culture, we can say we celebrate our 15th birthday. Then you have guys who are part of your court. And like a lot of families are always like, don't choose your boyfriend as your main guy to go with you because you're always going to have that picture and you never know if that's going to be the person that you're going to be with at 15 years old. I didn't do that. So I look back and now I'm like, cool, I didn't go that route because I can still show off all my pictures without having to worry like, oh, I don't want to show that picture because, it has my ex that I don't want to be showing off or anything like that. But it's definitely like these things are memorable. And this is a picture that everyone's going to look at and really, she wants it for herself for the long run and everything. But Brian, I think you're right in regards to like, she shouldn't even have included Brian or Lola because yes, they're big on marriage. I feel like marriage is such a big topic in this family now. But Brie and Brian aren't having the best relationship right now. Lola and Jj have had their ups and downs as well. So it's like, I totally agree with you on just have your kids and your grandkids because those are the people that are always going to be there with you.
Yeah. So, and it's so complicated because like I've been at events where like they're trying to get the family together and then and boyfriends or girlfriends aren't in the picture. They kind of sit to the side and it's awkward for the moment, but then you hear, like 3 months later, they're not together. So like I feel like it's just like, you have to be open and talk about it. And Momma Bella didn't. She was like, trying to be secretive and
sneaky.
Yeah, and sneaky.
Yeah, for sure. And for those of you in the chat, I know there's always so many people in the chat. So go ahead, Brian, shout them out and let us know what you guys think about this whole topic.
Yes, shout out to our usuals. We love seeing you every single week. Gabby, Joseph, Haywood.
Yay!
Who else is here with us? Gabby, Joseph, Haywood. Right now, that's all that's here with us, but they're always here with us. We love them.
They're always supporting us.
Yes.
We love you guys so much in the chat, and let me know your thoughts. I'm here to shout them out, and we love talking about this. So keep them coming.
Yeah, I know you guys are always here with us, so thank you so much. Haywood, thank you for always retweeting us and always being so supportive with all of us and our individual journey. So we appreciate you guys so much and keep coming. I want to hear your opinion because tonight's episode was definitely a lot of fighting and a lot of drama. JJ and Lola mentioned that Nikki was not going to be a little bit too happy about this, so let's go ahead and get to that little shopping spree where Momma Bella mentions to Nikki that this was not her plan to have Artem in her picture we do know, that she obviously wanted to go about having one picture with him, one picture without, and he will never know. But Emily, were you surprised by Nikki's reaction?
No, I wasn't surprised because Nikki is so in love with Artem right now and is so they're at this peak of their relationship right now. She's in defense mode because she already feels sensitive to the fact that her family might not be completely on board with this relationship. And so to have her mom bring this up again, it's just another thing that she can add to the list of like, look, this is another reason why you're not supporting me in this relationship. Commenting about moving in too quickly and then now with the photo. So I feel like she has an emotional stake in it and she has a right to voice her concerns. So I wasn't surprised at all that she was upset.
I mean, it only makes sense that if your mom is telling you, hey, I don't want your boyfriend in our family picture, but everyone else's significant others can be part of it. Everyone would kind of feel a little bit offended, wouldn't they?
Yeah. But what's interesting is was John Cena in previous just family photos when they weren't necessarily engaged?
Yes.
True. Yeah. They weren't married.
So what makes what makes Artem different?
Exactly.
He can't be in the family photos.
Emily.
Good job, Emily. I think we're Team Artem now. We're getting to a little bit more of him, and Ollie would probably be so in love right now. He's already in love with him.
Ollie's #1 fan.
I know, but I mean, Brian, I want to know your thoughts. I think it was hilarious when Nikki was like, "He's my Puss in Boots," and those eyes,
so sweet.
Before really knowing, because we obviously haven't seen so much of Artem, what did you think his reaction would have been like? We didn't really see him react at the photo shoot, so I want to know your thoughts. Were you a little bit afraid that he was actually going to react and maybe not even want to see the family?
No, honestly, I didn't think he was, and he alluded to it in the end as well. He was a very understanding person, and he wished that Momma Bella would have just told him, and he would have been totally fine with it. So I don't think he would have gotten upset, especially for the fact that he is really new to the family. So he's still kind of, walking on eggshells, trying to make sure everyone not have any beef with anybody and make a good impression. So I love how you just mentioned he was so understanding, and he's like, Momma Bella, why didn't you just tell me? I would have just not shown up.
I know.
Yeah, for sure. There was also
in hindsight, you're like, in hindsight, it's just funny.
Yeah,
I know. But we also had a little yoga session, which I was surprised that JJ was even surprised because one, she mentioned all these things, she lives in a gated community, she has cameras, the robbers or whoever knew where her cameras were, and she gets this call, has to go to the police department and sees her car. Bryant, your thoughts on this whole situation, her having to go look at her car and see bullets inside her?
Crazy.
That was so crazy. I do remember them touching on it really, really briefly on the podcast, the middle of last year. And I was already so hurt for them. It was such a scary time. If that's happened to anybody, it's so scary and so disheartening, and Brie brought it up so often that, it's hard because she is alone most of the time. So that's made it even worse for her. The car was stolen. She saw this really disturbing images of the bullets, and she doesn't know who was with that car, who did what to it, who even took it, who was on her property, So it was very, very scary to see. And Brie is 100% justified in her feelings that she wants someone to be with her at all times, because not only her, but also with Birdie being so young still this time, it's definitely needing someone to just be there for her and have that second eyes, because it already happened on, like you said, a gated community, which is extra scary. How did they even get in?
Yeah, it's wild.
For sure.
It's wild. I felt like this
Emily,
moment. Yeah.
I have to go to you. Sorry about this, because you're the one that can relate to this whole situation in regards to you're kind of married. Well, not kind of. You are married to a wrestler, and you are married. So, I want to know your thoughts on this whole situation. Have you ever been put? Can you relate to this? What if, put yourself in Brie's shoes? What would you have done?
You mean for the when the car was broken into, or?
Yeah, and is your husband always gone? Do you have to deal with kind of the similar type of lifestyle?
I mean, it's always I get I could relate to the being alone at night situation, because there's always those sounds you hear, your house is settling. There's outside noise. There's people, and you never know what happens. And we've had moments where something has happened on the street, or there was like a shooting down the street, or things like that. Things get locked down, and then I'm by myself, or there's like a fire next door. So like, all these little things happen, and then you're like, where's that person that I rely on? And it's not their fault. Like they're working, they're doing their thing, but it's that extra security blanket that you feel like you've lost or that you don't have right now. And so it's scary and it's uncomfortable, and like you just find a way to manage without for a while. And it ebbs and flows, and but I totally understand where Brie's coming from.
Yeah, I understand that perspective and the fact that, I would definitely be scared if that happened to me. You do get a little bit paranoid, but I feel like Brie is blaming Brian a lot.
Sure.
In the previous,
I did notice that. Like, I feel like there's some resentment there that like she's not on the road as much, and so she's at home, and we saw that a little bit in this trailer for next episode. Yeah, is that she's like, no, I'm not, like, she says she's not complaining about him being gone, but does in every episode. Yeah. And you can't, like, you signed up for this life. I'm getting a little preachy, but like you signed up for this life, and you know what it takes to keep it. And part of it is for him to be on the road. So you guys both have agreed to that. And again, it goes back to that communication that we talked about in this first episode of the season, is that if they are not communicating and if they are not on the same page, they need to reevaluate, and they need to reconnect and say, so if Brie is having trouble dealing with him being on the road, and with Birdie, then she needs to bring it up. And I feel like it's hard because when that person comes home, you don't necessarily talk about everything that happened.
Yeah. Well, I don't think it's actually fair in the sense that like Brie is a Russell too. She's gone through that life. So I don't think it's fair because she knows the lifestyle. She knows she went through the whole depression, being injured, knowing how much it impacted him.
She knows what that's like too, and she knows how important it is for him to be on the road emotionally, mentally, physically. And so for her to not have empathy towards that, not that she doesn't at all, or I think she does. She knows how it is. But it's like she kind of forgot what it's like.
Yeah. And then also, I also think that there's that part where she's still able to run her businesses. She's still doing her beauty, and she's still she's doing so much with her sister. Maybe it is less traveling, but he's still supportive of her. So I think it's like you said, a little bit of resentment, a little bit of anger because of the whole situation. But I don't know, Bryant. We'll see what happens because there's a lot of problems in this marriage that we obviously didn't know about.
Whew.
Yes.
It's crazy. But let's move on to this party. They had a little dress-up party. I want to know, Bryant, your thoughts on this little fun gathering. But of course, there can't ever be a fun gathering without a problem sparking up. So we see, Brie tell Nikki, of course, who else is going to tell Nikki that what JJ and Lola think. And I was actually really surprised in the fact that both of them, especially Lola's comment when she's like, I have a brother and a sister and I love him equally.
Like, I was like, whoa, girl.
Shade. Whoa. So tell me your thoughts on Nikki's reaction when she first found out.
Definitely. I think Nikki was justified to be so taken back, because while she does do it, and I acknowledge that she probably is doing it to a certain extent, she doesn't think she is, and she obviously is not aware of that. So she was so taken back, and she's like, I do not favor Birdie over anybody. I love all those girls equally. I would not be favoring Birdie over any of them. And I think she was just super taken back at the moment. But I 100% agree with you, the fact that Lola even said something, because we talked about that whole dynamic with Artem of not wanting to step on your toes. And Lola's been part of the family for so long. But at that same token, like, if you're just an in-law, to say that about your sister-in-law, like, I would like not even say anything like that. I would be scared, So I definitely feel like hopefully they have a really good enough relationship that she feels comfortable enough to say that. But it definitely was shocking when not only JJ said it, but also Lola stepped in and said, I don't even do that. I have my own siblings. And I'm like, oh, girl.
I found like this whole party, this whole episode was like everyone getting into each other's business. I feel like every episode has been like that. But I feel like it's a habit with this family that they can't not tell each other things that they're not supposed to. and they can't not be in each other's business.
Well, and like mentioned, you know, JJ was like, I just made a funny comment, and she's like, you always make funny comments. So it's like, Brie mentioned the fact that they don't know when to say certain things. So he definitely didn't mention, or she even did it. She didn't mention it at the right time. Nikki obviously reacted like, haters gonna hate. I'm gonna go tell them more stuff about Birdie so they can get mad. Not a good reaction. Not
Dig the knife in a little bit.
Yeah. But I think one of the cute moments over this whole party was pretty much all really wants to know the family, teaching a little bit of dance moves, all that stuff. So that was a highlight for me for that party, because aside from that, there was too much drama, and you can tell Lola held back from saying something.
Yeah. Can I say about the party that I loved the Downton Abbey like costumes?
So cute.
Can I say it was so beautiful, and I just loved how everyone just dressed up, and I love the whole style.
Yeah. Well, let's go ahead and move on to the big part of this episode, what we've been leading up to, what they've been all fighting about, and this photo. Brian, it was raining. The twins were late. Momma Bella was not having it, with Lola complaining and JJ talking crap about Nikki. So give me your thoughts on how this photo shoot went, and did you enjoy that little fight between JJ and Nikki? A little. It was actually big.
It was a pretty big fight. No, honestly, it was the exact reaction I had was exactly what Momma Bella said. Like, karma is real, because of all this drama, it just came crashing down on her. And I felt so bad for her, because obviously we all love Momma Bella, and I didn't want that to happen. But I guess it was kind of a wake-up call that all this drama, and it could have been totally avoided with certain things, you know, like we said, open communication, or running things by each other, or really just handling it a better way as opposed to the way they handled it, and that's why it all came crashing down. So the fight with JJ and Nikki was definitely scary. I was like, no, I don't want Nikki to be upset or anything. And I loved how, oh my god, my light just went out for the drama.
So dramatic.
I know. Like, hello, hi. But yeah, I can't deal. I was scared for Nikki, and I'm gonna stop my video so I can fix my light.
No worries. Okay, Emily, your thoughts. Go ahead.
Oh my god. So JJ was holding on to all of this pent up aggression, all of this anger towards Nikki, all those little snide comments, all leading up to this. I just felt like him and Momma Bella were just completely kind of coming at Nikki from both perspectives and making a huge deal of this photo, and then it just blew up, and I was kind of frustrated with both of them, because first of all, it just takes communication. And what's frustrating is JJ never really talked to Nikki and said, hey, these are the feelings I'm having. This is what I'm perceiving that you're doing. It might not be true. Like, you might not feel that way, but this is what I see and observe. And the fact that Brie went ahead and just told Nikki without even giving them a heads up, without consulting with JJ, it was a misstep. It was a misstep on Brie's part. And it just kind of blew up the situation more. And I loved how there was rain and there was thunder and this storm was coming in, because that's the perfect setting to have this huge photo thing blow up. And the tensions were high and emotions were high. And my favorite part was when Artem finally showed up, and it was this sweet, and I felt like we were watching The Notebook with the rain, and they embraced. It was beautiful.
There's for sure. That's my favorite part too. I feel like there was a happy ending to every event, because it was so dramatic. But there's a couple things I want to point out about this whole conversation and this blow up. Yes, I agree with JJ. The fact that she doesn't even reach out on their birthdays, but she's definitely doing something for Birdie.
That's not cool.
That's wrong.
That's not cool.
Yeah.
That's so wrong. If you're gonna get a gift for one niece or nephew, or one cousin, or whoever you're close with in your family, then you need to get it for everyone.
Yeah,
exactly.
You can't just be selective, and it's not they need to be careful of spending money.
Right. Yeah.
You could get a little gift.
Not just that, it's a thought. She's always with Brie. Yes, I have to defend that point. She's always with Brie. They are twins. Momma Bella said it. You can't separate twins from being twins when they're done everything together. But I know
Yeah.
Nikki can be a little bit selfish sometimes, and she only really thinks about herself and her situation. So at the point where go ahead.
But you also have to be like, even as twins, as sisters, even though you're hanging out all the time, you should be aware of that and say, oh man, we haven't really seen JJ in a while. We should go over there. Or hey, I'm in town. Let me hang out with my brother. So like, you need to make a conscious decision to do that. And I feel like they haven't.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's different. I have to agree with you though, in regards to like Brie does, I feel like a little bit more because she has Birdie. She does stuff with Vivian and Alice, the other baby. So Brie, they are at the end of the day different personalities and react differently. So obviously I think tries a little more than Nikki really does.
Yeah. Do you think it's because Nikki doesn't have kids that she feels disconnected from? Because I feel like it's easier when you have you do a play date, you can like get all the little cousins together.
Sure.
And it's easy to have that happen.
But I would imagine that Nikki would want to give more love, you know, because she doesn't have kids. She would want to embrace, you know, all of them as much as she can because she doesn't have her own kids to give that love to, you know. Like you said, I'm sure we're like blowing it out of proportion, kind of like JJ did. But at the same token, I feel like Nikki was kind of in the wrong for, you know, not doing that and not really reaching out. And it's true that what JJ said, that she doesn't really give as much love as she possibly could to his girls as he does to Birdie.
Yeah, well, I'm shows, and you made a good point. It's sad, but it's true when Vivian mentions everyone in the family but her, or, you know, that's when you're like, oh crap, kids really are the ones that remember everything, know a lot of things, know the memories. So it's like, ooh, that hurt her, I'm sure, but he was like, when you feel guilty, you get defensive. So there's two good points. Nikki was wrong for the way she's doing things. JJ was wrong on his approach. Brie didn't step in, kind of just made things worse for telling Nikki in the way she did. So again, I think it is communication in this whole family. Artem kind of came to save the day, but we do see that little conversation after. Brian, I want to know your thoughts on that conversation. Did you get enough, like, an apology? Do you feel like they can go ahead and move forward after this?
I think so. And I really appreciated what Artem did with that because he tried not to make Momma Bella feel bad, worse than she already did. I'm sure she felt so bad for that whole ordeal.
Yeah, and embarrassed.
Very, very embarrassed. Like, he was definitely like, you know what, you could have just talked to me. It's okay. Like, it's not a big deal. I understand. I'm a very understanding person, especially, you know, when he went for his green screen interview, he was like, I'm very understanding. I wouldn't have made it a big deal. So I 100% appreciate the way he kind of just like, no apology needed. It's totally fine. Let's just move forward. So
yeah. Emily, what about you with JJ and Nikki, their conversation?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it happened a little too quickly, the resolution of this conflict. I feel like it's going to be an ongoing issue. It's not just going to be resolved in one conversation. If JJ felt so strongly about this issue, it's going to continue. There's birthday parties. There's going to be, you know, other family events. Yeah. And, you know, I feel like that they just need to keep the communication lines open and keep talking about it. And if JJ notices something, just say, hey, you know, and it's a learning curve, you know, and Nikki will have to learn.
For sure.
And then you also remember, guys, they're both pregnant at the same time. They're going to be doing everything together now, especially.
Seriously. I know.
Like, these babies are going to be even closer because they're a week apart.
I know. I can't wait to see what JJ's reaction is.
Exactly. That's
everything. It's going to be wild.
But I have a huge prediction to tell you guys at the end of the show. You guys may or may not believe, but we got a little preview for the gender reveal. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but I kind of have in mind what these little babies are going to be. So wait for the predictions. Stay tuned because I did my research and I kind of know what these twins are having. But before that, let's go ahead and move into our special segment, Match of the Week.
Awesome. So we have lots of fights in this episode. We're going to focus on two huge matches. We're going to focus on Momma Bella versus Nikki. And Nikki / Artem, I think he's grouped in there with that side. Because, you know, there was this whole photo session that Momma Bella was trying to plan. And he asked, or no, she didn't ask. She told pretty much Nikki, hey, we're not going to have Artem in the photo. And it blew up into this whole thing, as we talked about. And so I want to hear your thoughts on who you think kind of won this match, because, you know, we had a lot of good points. We had a lot of good perspectives. And is anyone in the right here? Here, Leslie, why don't you go first?
Yes, I have to go. I definitely think Nikki won this match. The only reason why I'm giving it to Nikki is because of Momma Bella's approach and the way she did things. She could have easily, you know, planned this, set it in a better way of, yes, you can still have two pictures, just communicate with, but even have three, one with just your kids, one with your husband, and then your daughter, one with just your grandkids, and then one with everyone. So that could have easily solved the issue. But I feel like she came off a little bit more, I don't want him, like, kind of like, not disgusted, more like afraid, kind of, in a way. Like, no, it's not what I want. I didn't like her tone. So I have to give it to Nikki for this one. I would have been offended as well. Just communicate right. You don't have to make someone feel like, I don't want him, because he obviously already gets a little bit of that from Nikki.
Yeah, Bryant, what do you think?
Same here. Right? It's totally echoing. Yeah, just all about communication. She should have just said it in a better way. And love you, Momma Bella, but you're in the wrong this one.
Yeah, I'm going to go with you guys. I think the whole panel agrees tonight that Momma Bella did not win this. She definitely was a little bit more aggressive tonight. She was not accepting and inclusive, and she's going to get some marks off for that one. So the other match of tonight is really JJ. It blew up tonight. JJ versus Nikki. This whole, you know, favoritism with all of the nieces. And so, Leslie, I want to hear your perspective. JJ and Nikki, I feel like both acted really out of control. Both, I feel like, are both in the wrong. But who took it home? Who wins?
I have to pick a winner. There's no DQ.
There could be DQ. There could be.
I mean, it's just okay. I feel bad because I understand JJ's point, but I also don't think it's right to go at your sister like that, because I can totally relate to that in a way. So I don't think it's okay for you to just be making comments to your sister, like, kind of not really being direct. There's a lot of indirect comments, being very aggressive. That's not fair to her. Yes, maybe she's wrong. Talk about it, because probably you can work on your overall relationship, with maybe the biggest issue here. So no DQ. I feel like they both beat each other up, and it didn't even end up anywhere, because there was kind of a resolution, but the twins are pregnant now together. There's going to be 2 new babies and more memories that they're making, like, now, especially because they lived next to each other. So it's a little hard.
Bryant, do you have thoughts on this?
For sure. And when you said indirect comments, Leslie, that's exactly what I thought as well. And like, it doesn't have to be with my immediate family, but like extended family, like that whole thing is such an issue. Like, if you have something to say, just say it to me. Like, literally, like, it's like so bad. So I think that could have been the easiest solution. Again, going back to communication, he could have just said that to Nikki. I think she was even more offended the fact that it came from Brie. Like, he didn't say it to her directly. So that's probably why she was even more pissed off. And she, like, they both made it worse. He made it worse by saying those comments. She made it worse by not showing up to the dinner party and feeding into his narrative. So again, I 100% agree with you. No DQ. They were both so in the wrong, and hopefully they get it together next week.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I think you guys all brought some really great points, and we'll see next week. We have more drama and more stuff happening. We'll see what match is going to happen next.
There's going to be a lot of matches. Let's go ahead and move forward with our predictions for next week. All right, Bryant, I want to go to you first. I want to know your predictions. There's a lot happening. Nikki and Artem's finally going to, like, step up and confront Nikki about the way she's being a girlfriend, I guess you can say. There is more Danielson marriage drama, and, you know, just too many things going on. But your predictions on next week's episode.
Seriously. What I think we're going to see is finally the first kind of fight between Nikki and Artem that gets more out of hand, because to this point it's been very, very lovey-dovey, which I absolutely love, because I love seeing her happy. Artem is obviously great. I'm right there with Alia's biggest Artem stan as well. But I think that we're definitely going to see the first big blow up fight, and it's going to kind of show us the dynamic of the relationship. So can't wait for that, because I don't want it to happen because I want it to be happy, but at the same token, I'm like, I want to see the drama. So
Good tempo.
Yeah,
Good tempo sides.
Your turn.
Yeah, no, I think Brian's right. I think we're gonna see Artem and Nikki's relationship in depth even more. I feel like right now we're on the surface a little bit. We're kind of in the honeymoon phase still, and it needs to get a little bit gritty. It needs to get dirty. We need to see kind of all the bad stuff with the good stuff. And let's see. I think it's going to be a relationship heavy episode, because we're going to get the contrasting with Brie and Daniel Bryant. We're going to kind of see how the twins are dealing with their separate relationships, and see how they handle it.
Sure. Well, I definitely have to agree with both of you. I want to see a little bit more of Brian being involved in his marriage and stepping up to Brie. I feel like the twins are now, both of them, very in control of their relationship. It's kind of like what I say goes. I feel like Nikki now has that opportunity in this relationship. So I want to see Brian step up a little bit and be like, no, this isn't what I signed up for. I want to see him defend himself a little bit. I want to see Artem too defend himself, because I feel like Nikki is just
very
playing the shots.
Yeah.
But this big prediction that I wanted to share with you guys is, I don't want to say it all because I feel like we still have so much to go in this season, so much to talk about babies, but I did my research. I don't know. I don't know if you guys saw that Bella was on the Bella's podcast. So I went through his Instagram a little bit, and I noticed in his bio, he said granddaughters. So my prediction is that both the twins are having girls.
Interesting.
And that is a girl heavy.
That
family.
is a girl heavy family. Yeah, exactly. And they should wear matching outfits all the time.
So we'll see. He said 5, so it only makes sense. Brie has 1, JJ has 2, and the 2 new babies.
Well, did it say granddaughters before this announcement? Like, did it always say granddaughters, or?
I don't know. So maybe I may be wrong, but he said he posted 5. So unless he has other kids that we may not know about, or
I don't know, maybe that's more drama.
Exactly. So we'll see. But if it's true, I said it first. So we'll see what happens. But that is it for tonight's episode. Before we go, Emily, tell them where they can find you.
Yes, you can find me on all social media platforms at Emily May Heller. On Sunday nights, catch the Zoe's Extraordinary playlist at 10 o'clock. We have Mandy Moore, who's the choreographer for the show, coming on this week. It's going to be super exciting. And then you can catch me on NXT on Wednesday nights, as well as the For Life After Show.
Yes. Brian, where can people find you?
Yay! You can find me on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and TikTok at Jj Bryant Santos, and at AfterBuzz TV's Quarantine with the Stars. Also, again, shout out to the chat for everybody being here. Joseph, Gabby, Haywood, we love you guys, and can't wait to see more of you guys next week.
Yay!
Yeah, we definitely can't do this after show without you guys. So thank you so much for your support. Help us get the Bellas on here. Retweet, tag them. We definitely want to have them as a special guest. So help us out. But I am Leslie Cologne. You can follow me at Leslie Cologne _, and we will see you next Friday at 7 p.m. Bye.
Our founder, Kevin Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.